What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Jewish Giraffe, here with my Season 4 Week 2 team builder and post-commentary for my match versus the New York Kecleons, or Vade Wilkes Booth, as you may call him. This week, so Vade and I are both in a little group called Blondito Burrito. As many of you may know, this means that there was going to be guaranteed hacks in this match. As you will see in the match, this is true. But first, let's look at the team. So, looking at Vade's team, he's got the Mega Garchomp, the Jirachi, the Tornadus Therian, the Florges, the Tentacruel, the Scrafty, Electros, Omastar, Miltank, Spiritomb, Pinsir, and Virizion. Looking at his team, I was very scared of just a couple things. I was scared of a SD Outrage Mega Garchomp because that just tears through my team, and even my most physically defensive walls at +2 barely take one from it, and even then they have a chance to not take it. Like max HP, max defense score guys, I think takes like 97% at max from an Outrage, so it's not living after rocks. So that was one thing I was definitely scared of. I knew he would bring, well, my initial idea of what he was going to bring was going to be Garchomp, Jirachi, Florges, Tentacruel, and then either Omastar and Miltank, or maybe Scrafty and Spiritomb. I don't know, or like I meant Miltank and Spiritomb and Omastar and Scrafty. I thought he would bring one of those two pairs together because they match up really well together. I could almost guarantee he was going to bring Miltank just to rub it in my face, since I had it last season and it got crit all the time, although it's a crit magnet. It was going to get crit from, well, when he had it, whatever. You'll see. Mega Garchomp, I could basically guarantee that's coming since it punches holes through my team, and the one thing I really have to take this on, I'll get into the team real quick. So just expecting Jirachi, Mega Garchomp, Florges, Tentacruel, and then one of those other 4 mons, probably Miltank and Spiritomb. I decided that, first off, I was going to need to stack hazards really well in this game. My game plan right off the bat was stack with Klefki, stack spikes, set up rocks with Nidoqueen, weaken the Florges, which I knew was coming right a little bit, and then sweep with Gallade and Manaphy together. So I'll look at the Klefki set right off the bat first. So this is a pretty standard set: Spikes, Thunder Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Magnet Rise. Thunder Wave there just to pair things, slow things down. I'm not looking for pairs when I go for Thunder Wave. That's like, I don't know, I just don't want things to get paralyzed. I just want them to be slower so Gallade can handle them, things like the Tornadus. This was more of like, this is one of my few Tornadus checks, as well as a partial Mega Garchomp answer, because I know this can take at least one Fire Blast if he predicts right and doesn't go for EQ when I go on the Magnet Rise, blah blah whatever. That's the thing that Garchomp usually do anyway. Excuse me. Spikes there just to cause a lot of residual damage on his team. If you look at his team, he has 2 things that are immune to spikes. So spikes were going to be very important in this game, and those things that were weak to spikes, just Tornadus was weak to rocks. And everything gets really hurt by rocks as well, except for basically the Garchomp and the Jirachi. So hazards were a big part. Dazzling Gleam is there to hit the Garchomp, and it hits everything on the team, like, somewhat, and then Magnet Rise is there just to avoid an Earthquake from the Mega Garchomp. Now, with Spike stacking, his only form of hazard removal on the team is Tentacruel. So I was very certain, like, if I had to guess one mon he was going to bring, he was going to bring Tentacruel, because he's weak to hazard stack, and that's his only way to get rid of it. So this Gourgeist is there to take on 3 things from his team. It can live anything from a Tentacruel, except for, like, I don't know, a smash past +2 Ice Beam. I don't know if it even gets like any sort of setup move like Calm Mind or whatever. If it could, oh, I guess it gets like Acupressure. So if he Acupressured 2 times and gets a special attack raise or whatever, and an Ice Beam, I think I could still take that with the spread I have, +2 Ice Beam from Tentacruel, however he may get that. It can also take knockoffs, Giga Drain, Scalds, Acid Sprays, whatever, plus being able to block the spin. Then the Garchomp, it's there because it can take Dragon Claws, it can take Earthquakes, any of the stab moves it can take as long as they're not boosted. And then Jirachi, this thing can take Iron Heads, Heart Stamps, anything that's not a U-turns especially. It just can't take Ice Punches and Fire Punches and stuff like that, but he'd have to predict around, and he may not even be running those. I was really expecting Scarf Jirachi, so this spread I think takes 3 Fire Punches with leftovers, as long as he doesn't burn me. But knowing Jirachi, those things happen. Then we're going to look at the Nidoqueen. This spread is just max HP near max SPDEF. This was one of my Tornadus checks, and this was my Florges check. As you'll see, it's physical. You might not really expect that on Nidoqueen. It's got 44 attack EVs. That is there to take on Florges. I think max HP, max defense, it's a guaranteed 2-hit KO. But I was pretty much expecting Kebia Berry because this is my best Florges check out there. So Kebia Berry, Psyshock, whatever Florges, I was pretty much anticipating that. So this can take 2 Psychics. It can't take Psyshocks, but I wasn't really expecting him to bring Psyshock. Although looking back at it, it probably would have been better for him since it would have hit couple other things on my team a little bit better. Whatever. His special attacks, this thing is there to take it on. 44 guarantees it. Ice Punch is there for the Tornadus. Earthquake is there to hit the Jirachi because otherwise Ice Punch and Poison Jet were doing nothing. And this is my Stealth Rocker for the team. Then we have Tornadus. Originally, up until like 2 minutes, I'd say, maybe 5 minutes before the match, this was Bulk Up, Rest, Knockoff, Acrobatics with a Chesto Berry with some HP, max attack, and then some speed. It was enough to, I don't remember, I think it was enough to outspeed Jirachi. Yeah, it was enough to outspeed an Jolly Jirachi without a Scarf. But I decided I didn't have good enough speed control on the team, so I decided to put Scarf. Air Slash is there, hold on. It's just so hot, I need water. Thirsty TJG, okay. Air Slash is there to take on, well, it hits everything on the team neutrally, I think, except for the Jirachi and the Electros. Looking at his team, yeah, those are the only things it doesn't hit. And then, well, those things I can't actually touch with the Tornadus. Power Ice is there for Garchomp because it's going to do about 60 to Mega Chomp. Power Ice also hits Tornadus fairly well. Grass Knot is there for the Omastar because Scarf Tornadus does outspeed a Shell Smashed Omastar. And the Grass Knot would OHKO even without the special defense drops and everything. This was pretty much like my backup, oh my god, he's gonna sweep me, let me somehow get rid of that threat answer. I don't know. I wanted to put Hurricane on there, but I decided Air Slash would be better because it's more accurate and I didn't want to lose the game because of a miss. I was looking at Air Cutter, but I decided I didn't really need the crits, and the possible flinch chance would be nice. I mean, 1 flinch, it's probably going to be beneficial in the game. Then, I didn't really know what to put for last move. I was thinking Knockoff just to hit the Jirachi and the Electros a little bit better, but I thought I had those checked fairly well between Nidoqueen and Gourgeist. Looking back at it, I did not have much for Electros, but that's whatever. Oh, spoiler, Vade doesn't end up bringing Electros. So last move, I decided just Tailwind would be good on there for like a last-ditch effort if I wanted to help that Manaphy clean up or help the Gallade clean up. Manaphy, I was debating going for Rest, Calm Mind, Rain Dance, Scald, but since he has Tornadus, I couldn't risk the Hurricanes being guaranteed accuracy. So I thought Tail Glow, Scald, Ice Beam, Psychic would be my best bet. Scald is there to hit everything neutrally, I think, except for the Tentacruel and the Virizion. Yeah, those are the only things that, yeah, okay. And those get hit by Psychic. Ice Beam, it was originally Energy Ball, but Ice Beam is there just in case he was Mega Garchomp +2 locked into Outrage. This would be my switch in, and assuming he's unboosted, like no Tailwind or anything, the Ice Beam would be a guaranteed kill, unboosted. So, yeah, otherwise I'd have like no other way to check it. And then, last mon, we have Buff Gumby, the Mega Gallade, who was rocking the Swords Dance, Shadow Sneak, Psycho Cut, Drain Punch. With an SD up, Shadow Sneak does very, very good damage to everything on his team, except the Spiritomb, which Spiritomb was a huge problem for my team. Like, I had really no way to handle it other than Manaphy, and looking back, I probably should, oh, and Klefki, I should have prepared for it a little bit more. Psycho Cut is there to hit Florges mainly. I didn't want to run Zen Headbutt and get a miss. I think at +2, Zen Headbutt does like 75 or something to max defense Florges. And then Drain Punch is there mainly for things like, or just, whoops, just to get health back. It's there to hit like the Scrafty, the Miltank, the Jirachi. That does like 80% to Jirachi, but at +2, Shadow Sneak does, I think, like 65%. Oh, and it's guaranteed to hit KO after rocks on the Tornadus, etc, etc, etc. Shadow Sneak was just really good, and my team doesn't have a whole lot of priority, so I thought this would be very good if he was like passing some speed. His team is fairly fast. It's not like overly fast, but it's got a lot of fast things on it. So this is the team. I was feeling somewhat confident with it versus him. I don't know. It's been like a weird weekend for me, so I wasn't in like a battling mood so much, but I knew I just had to get it done. So let's get into the battle now. 2, 1. And we're back. And here's the battle. This is going to be a post-com, so I'm not doing it live or whatever. First thing I noticed right off the bat when we got into the battle, he doesn't have Tentacruel. And this just completely blew me away. I thought, wow, I'm going to be able to stack hazards like crazy in this. And I'm going to have a field day once I get however many spikes and stealth rocks up. I wasn't really expecting the Virizion, so that was like the only thing that was shocking. Otherwise, I pretty much guaranteed everything. And seeing the Spiritomb, I knew it was going to be a problem. Right off the bat, I was thinking he's probably not going to lead Garchomp since that's like one of his setup things. I'm assuming it's not some sort of Calm Mind, Jirachi. I figured it'd probably be Scarf, and then like bulky rocks, Miltank sort of thing. So expecting either Miltank or Jirachi, I decided to lead off with Klefki because Klefki can T-Wave both of them or set up spikes, and they're not doing a whole lot back to me. So he does end up leading off with a Miltank, so I take this opportunity to give up a spike as he goes into the Garchomp. And looking at this just screams offensive. Like, there's no way this is a Tank Chomp or anything like that. This has got to be like EQ, Fire Blast, whatever. So I'm kind of Vade's smart. He knows what Klefki does. He knows it can go for a Magnet Rise right here, but I have no option. If he goes for an Earthquake right here, I'm just gone. So I want to use this eventually to get up more spikes, so I decided to go for the Magnet Rise, as he goes for a play I wasn't really expecting, and he goes for the Substitute. Now, right off the bat, I thought, oh god, if he's... there was a set I was fearing in the back of my mind the whole time, which was Sub-SD Smackdown Earthquake, which would just destroy my team. Or he could be like Outrage over Smackdown, something like that, and I would just not be good. So just think on that, I can't let him set up, I need to break the sub, otherwise I probably would have switched into Spiritomb. I don't know. So I need to go for the Dazzling Gleam to break the sub. And he goes for the Fire Blast, hits, and it does 61%. Now looking at that, I go for the Dazzling Gleam, it breaks the sub. Looking at that, he's got to be near or max special attack, and afterwards he told me, yeah, he was max special attack, I think max speed. This Klefki is max HP, max Spadef, so it is not taking that well at all. Mega Garchomp has really nice special attack, actually. I think it's like 120. Yeah, so thinking he might go for another... Well, he's going to do one of two things here. He's either going to go for another Fire Blast, or he's going to go for another Substitute. If he goes for the Fire Blast, my best play would be to switch into Manaphy, because max special attack, I think that does like 20% to Manaphy, and I'd be able to recover up with leftovers a little bit, and then hit him with an Ice Beam, or just fire off a Scald, or whatever. But if he goes for a Substitute and I switch into Manaphy, then I'm gonna take a lot from an Outrage, or he can hit me with an Earthquake or something. And Manaphy is one of my win conditions, so I can't just switch into that freely. So I'm pretty much forced to go for a Dazzling Gleam here. I almost clicked Spike, but he kills me with the Fire Blast. Yeah, I couldn't let him set up with a Substitute. So here I go into Manaphy, and knowing I thought, okay, he's either going to switch into Miltank, or he's going to stay in. So I was debating going for the Tail Glow here. I actually spent a good amount of time just thinking, should I go for the Tail Glow here? But I decided I can't let him try and set up another Substitute, or drop a Draco on me, or whatever, so I have to go for the Ice Beam. Ice Beam knocks it out, so Manaphy did part one of its job. Here he goes into the Florges. I think I just switch into Nidoqueen right off the bat. I don't think he's going to pull some Psychic move right off the bat. If anything, I would expect like a Moonblast, and I know I can take those for days. Special attack drops don't matter. So he goes for the Light Screen here. So I'm very glad I didn't stand, because that would not, like, Manaphy unboosted was going to do maybe 30% to this, and then with the Light Screen up, it was going to be doing nothing. So expecting a Kebia Berry here. I just want to gauge the damage, so I go for the Poison Jab. And he does have the Kebia Berry, and it does 32%. Looking at that, he's like max HP. I think he was Sun Defense. I don't remember the calc right off the bat. And like I said, Thirsty Sunday. He goes for the Psychic. Now, I think that's a little bit of special attack investment because I'm max HP, near max special defense, and that does 40%. So I think he knows that he can't live another Poison Jab. So he's either going into Jirachi here, or he's going into the Miltank. He's not staying in, or he's gonna like pull off a Protect or something. So my best play, in my opinion, here is to get up the Stealth Rocks. I almost click Earthquake, but instead I think Stealth Rocks are the better play. He goes into Jirachi, as kind of expected. And then here I figured he's probably Scarf. He might go for the U-turn, but it's not his best play to do so. So he might go for like a Zen Headbutt, something like that. So Gourgeist, since he doesn't have Tentacruel, I don't need HP on Gourgeist, so I switch into that to just take whatever he does. And I find out that I saw that he was leftovers already, and he goes for Heart Stamp actually. So Vade, you call me scum, but you're the one who's running Heart Stamp. You're the one out here trying to get these flinches, and as you'll see a little bit later, he's got some more Haxie moves up his sleeve. So I take this as an opportunity to fire off a Will-O-Wisp as he goes into Miltank, and we miss here. So that just kind of sucks because the residual damage would have been really nice, and I think he's Sap Sipper because that's one of his best ways to beat me then, because then neither of my stabs can hit him. Oh yeah, this set is Rest, Sleep, Talk, Seed Bomb, Will-O-Wisp, if I didn't mention that before. Just in case he wanted to Toxic me with Tentacruel or Miltank. I probably should have said that in the team builder, but whatever. It just makes it a little more livable. So I decided to go for another Will-O-Wisp just to scout what he's going to do as he gets up his Stealth Rocks. So that way I know his Jirachi is more offensive. He's not like, well, we already know he's not Scarf. I keep forgetting that throughout the battle. I keep coming back to the thought that he's Scarf because I forgot the leftovers are there. But we know he's probably 4 attacks leftovers, or maybe like Healing Wish, 3 attacks, something like that. So here I think I go back into, I don't remember actually, let me see what I did here. Oh yeah, I go into Manaphy here, and he goes for the Body Slam and gets a crit and a para. So that's just great right there. That's the first like little round of hacks, or another little round of hacks that's going against me right there. Had he not gotten this para, I would have been able to Tail Glow up a little easier, and then probably get like 1 to 2 kills based on the things that he had. But I get paralyzed, so here I'm just like, whatever, I'm gonna go for a Tail Glow just for the hell. No, this is not the turn where I go for a Tail Glow. This is the turn where I expect a Virizion and I went for a Psychic, because I know he's not going into Jirachi, he doesn't want to get that burn, he's not going into Florges, and even if I can possibly get a Spadef drop, I don't want to fish for burns because Miltank's already burned, so I figure why not fire off a Psychic. Later on I go for the Tail Glow on the Miltank, and that's whatever, but we get fully paralyzed here. So he doesn't know I have the Psychic, so I'm fully aware that he might go for a Sword Stance or a Leaf Blade or something like that and just drop my Manaphy, but I can't risk him setting up, and I need to pray for no paras. As he overpredicts and go for the Stone Edge, probably expecting the Tornadus, and I see that he's a Life Orb, so this is very offensive. And I get off the Psychic, and it does great damage, 42%. So he's just uninvested, I think, because Virizion has really nice special defense. Here, I know I can't stay in. I'm expecting, now that I know he's physical, I know that Gourgeist walls this, so I just have a free turn to switch into Gourgeist here on whatever move he decides to go for, as he goes for the Leaf Blade. And it does nothing. 16%, and that's Life Orb. So if he switches out, he'll come back in at 2%, or like 1.6%, whatever it is. So I was thinking maybe he'd stay in, so I just go for a Will-O-Wisp here, as he goes into Spiritomb, and I get off the Wisp. And I wasn't really sure what set this would be, but as you'll see, this set definitely could have ruined my life. So I decided to go for Seed Bomb just to scout damage as he goes for the Calm Mind. Looking at the damage I have, it's not doing enough to where it's going to be able to 2-hit KO, or it's going to 2-hit KO from here. But I don't know what his recovery move is. I'm thinking Rest, but I just need to see it's Rest. Because if I switch out and he's not Rest and he's Pain Split or something, I'm going to lose a lot of HP on another Mon. and I can't take that at this point, so I just need to confirm that it's rest before I go and switch into it. I was thinking Manaphy is my only way to deal with this, aside from Tornadus just flinching or whatever, or getting up a Tailwind and then Nidoqueen killing it, oh, something like that. Or, I mean, Tailwind and then into Manaphy, because I think it outspeeds then. So, I go for another Seed Bomb here, it drops him down to 16% and he goes for the rest. So, just seeing this, I know I'm in big trouble here, so I need to go into Manaphy. He actually isn't Sleep Talk, which is interesting to me. I get up a little more leftovers, he's fast asleep, and I go for the Tail Glow. This is my best way to take on his Spiritomb. I just need to get like 1 Scald off, or something. Or I think 2 Scalds is going to kill at +3, because he has the +1 boost. And here, he outspeeds, he wakes up, and he goes for the Snarl, but he misses. This is huge. This miss just sucks. I mean, 95% accuracy, who's going to expect that? And I get to fire off a Scald, and it does 56%. So that's just great damage, and Vade's salty about it. I'm just like, that sucks. I didn't want him to miss, because that's just pretty dumb. He goes for another Snarl, it does 26%. Because he was asleep before, and I got up all those, I got the special attack boosts. Wait, what was I saying? Oh, no, because he was asleep before and I got all the leftovers, it's going to not be a 2-hit KO. So if I had been Life Orb, that would have been bad. I was considering Life Orb before, but leftovers was better. And here's, I get paralyzed here, as you can see. Had I not been paralyzed here, I think I still may have killed, based on the rolls or whatever, or just gotten off damage, which just would have been nice, because I just wanted this thing low, because then I could come in with Gallied and Revenge, or I could come in with Tornadus and Revenge, which was probably more likely. But I get paralyzed here, and that just sucks. I think, in my opinion, that makes up for the Snarl miss. Yeah, it definitely makes up for the Snarl miss. And then here he goes for another Snarl, and the biggest hacks of the matches right now. I get a crit with the Scald, and it kills. So, had I not crit there, there's the chance I would have gotten the burn, which would have added up for some more residual damage, and he would have gotten, he would have been forced to rest the next turn to be able to keep Spiritomb's survivability. So I probably would have gone for a Tail Glow that next turn and gotten up to +4. And then from there, he would have had to sleep for 2 turns. This is all assuming I don't get paralyzed. So the Scalds would have 2-hit KO'd easily. I don't know what his last move was. I'm assuming it was probably like Dark Pulse or something like that. Maybe like or maybe it was like Shadow Ball, whatever it was. So this just sucks. So Manaphy is just basically dead in the water right now. +1 special attack, but that's whatever. Spiritomb is gone. I'm sorry, Vade, for that having to happen. I mean, I would have been able to play it off in the next couple turns, but it just sucks. So here he goes into the Jirachi, and I just have a free switch into Gourgeist. I know I get to switch into Rocks and not die, so I'll take that. He goes for another Heart Stamp, it's doing like nothing, and I can just fire off another Will-O-Wisp. And here he goes into Miltank, so that's a good play on his part, because it's already burned. And so I can take this as an opportunity to just switch into Manaphy, and I was planning on sacking it, just for whatever, come in at 1%, and he goes for the Heal Bell. So I thought, oh, maybe he'll kill me right now, I might as well fire off a Scald. But he goes to the Milk Drink, and I go for the Scald, don't get parried, and we get the burn right here. So he's pretty much forced into this little Heal Bell, Milk Drink continuation thing, but because I get the burn, he doesn't kill me with the Body Slam, so I'm able to fire off more Scalds. Manaphy just showing how bulky it is, and Miltank showing how garbage it is. God, so glad I don't have to deal with this thing anymore. Never gonna draft it again. He can't kill me here with another Body Slam, he knows that. So he goes for a Milk Drink, I get paralyzed, it's whatever, it's bound to happen. He has to go for a Heal Bell here to kill. It doesn't work, so I decide this is where I need to stop firing off Scalds, because Virizion can switch in, and if I get paralyzed or whatever. I had forgotten how low Virizion was at this point. I thought he was that. Well, I kept looking over at what health Virizion was at and what health Forges was at, and I was getting them mixed up, so I thought Virizion was a little bit higher, so I thought I need to go for the Psychic to kill. So I go for the Psychic here. I probably just should have gone for more Scalds. I end up losing this battle just because Body Slam kills this time. It was a roll, and showdown rounded up on the HP, so I thought I could maybe live, but I don't. It's whatever. This was more of a sack than anything. So here I get to switch into Gallade, and I don't want to mess around. I just go for the Drain Punch right here. I don't want to mess with him having or body slamming me if I go for the Sword Stance or whatever. And Sword Stance can't sweep yet. So he goes into Florges. Here I go for the Psycho Cut. I didn't really think he would double into Jirachi, but a great play on Vade's part. I just went for the safe move. I didn't want to mess around at this point because I can still lose very easily in this game, and I go for the Psycho Cut, and it does nothing. Plus, this is fine with me because I get a crit, which, I mean, doesn't matter. It does 16.4%. That damage doesn't end up mattering, as you'll see the rest of his set later on, but whatever. I'm also really glad that he's taking all this hazard damage, because it's just racking up more and more and more on his team, and that's the whole idea of this. So I switch into Gourgeist because it's free, and he can't do anything to me, and he goes for the Body Slam, which doesn't affect me. So, Vade, you scumlord, trying to get that 60% para on Gallade, I commend you. That's very Blondito of you. So here I just decide I'm going to fire off a Will-O-Wisp. He goes for the Heart Stamp trying to get the flinch. I don't get flinched, and I manage to land this Wisp, which is nice. He doesn't... I'm thinking, oh, maybe he's going to Healing Wish up the Virizion here. So I just go for a Seed Bomb to scout as he goes for the Wish. I thought, oh no, he's going to go into Virizion right here. As he ends up switching into Florges, and I think I go into Tornadus here, if I remember correctly. If I had Seed Bombed, it would have been great, but I don't think he should have switched into Florges. I think he should have switched into Virizion, just to get more health on it, but I don't know, this works out well. So here I can start firing off Air Slashes, as that does 24%, and I get the flinch. I feel really, really bad because I get a good amount of flinches in this game, as you're going to see. Tornadus ends up getting like however many flinches, you'll see. As I go for another Air Slash here, I don't get the flinch this time, and he goes for the Synthesis. So I know this is a losing battle. I need to switch into Nidoqueen now. Or actually switch into Gourgeist because I just really wanted a burn on this. As he goes for another Synthesis, this ends up being kind of a misplay on my part because the Moonblast is going to do a lot of damage here. Yeah, it does 41%. So I go for the Will-O-Wisp and I miss. So that just really sucks. The residual damage would have been nice, so then I could have switched into Nidoqueen and probably gone for an Earthquake if I had hit right there, and I would just let this die. He expects me to go to the Nidoqueen right here and goes for Psychic, which I think was kind of a misplay on his part. I'm also just playing dumb right now, and I go for the rest. I was just like, if he chokes or something right here, I'm gonna get my Gourgeist to stay around. So I just start firing off Sleep Talks for whatever reason. He gets another special attack drop, which doesn't matter. I get a rest. So just the Sleep Talk rolls and me missing everything are not my favor right now. He goes for a Moonblast. I stay asleep and I get a Seed Bomb, which is just fine, whatever damage, get more leftovers back. And here Kick goes down. So now I have the free switch into Nidoqueen, and Jirachi is just looking so clean right now. But he decides to go into the Virizion, which, so I had predicted the Jirachi, I went for the Earthquake, caught the Virizion, it was at 3%, not 2%, whatever, or 2.4, and Virizion goes down. So Nidoqueen doing really well in this match. He switches into Jirachi here, and I'm expecting him to go for the Heart Stamp here, because it's just the easiest play. It won't kill the Nidoqueen from the range it's at, but it's going to do a lot, and if he gets the flinch, Nidoqueen is gone, and then I have no way to handle the Florges. So, Tornadus is doing nothing for the rest of this game, so I switch him in. He goes for the Heart Stamp, it does 15%. Jirachi's burned, I go for the Air Slash, it does like nothing, and he gets flinched. So that's 2 flinches already with Tornadus, and he drops to the burn, so that's a kill for Gourgeist. He goes into Florges here, and I just feel like crap because I get another flinch. So that's... Of all the times I Air Slash, I think only one of the times it didn't get a flinch where it wouldn't have killed. So Tornadus ends up being the Scumlord and the MVP of the match. I really wanted Gallade to win. That's just the end. Yeah, Florges goes down. This match did not go how I wanted it to. I didn't actually read any of this. I had spectators ignored, so I'll go through and see what people said afterwards. this match did not go how I wanted it to. I wanted Gallade and Manaphy to get like a bunch of kills and then just have great differentials and whatever. But Manaphy went 2-1, Gourgeist went 1-1, Klefki 0-1, and then Nidoqueen, Gallade, and Tornadus all went 1-0. So slight differential buffer. I would have preferred if Gallade had gotten more. It's whatever. Tornadus is the scummy MVP of the match. I think probably more Manaphy is the MVP of the match because it broke through paralysis when I needed it to. I got paralyzed when I really didn't want that. Whatever. Shouts out to Vade for being the realest to ever do it and being a great member of Blondito. We both knew these hacks were coming. I wouldn't say hacks were equal on both sides. I'd say it'd be like 60-40 on my part. You can't really like predict for hacks. Well, here's the thing. Vade went for hacks that he knew he was going to get with Jirachi because he was trying to get the full paras, or he was trying to get the paralysis with Body Slam. To be fair, I was running Thunderwave on Klefki, but I didn't end up actually clicking it. So, I don't know, I think it's a little bit different. Whatever. The flinches sucked for him, the paralysis sucked for me, plus the Wisp missing. He had a problem with the crits and the flinches. I had a problem with the burns, or the misses, and the paras. It happens. This is just my little hacks rant at the end of this. Yeah, so catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching and everything. My differential is like 2 wins, 0 losses, and I'm +7. Nidoqueen, I think, is the best right now in RBL 2 in Rocket. Yeah, it's 5-0. So next week we're up against Dorkman. I haven't built anything yet. Probably gonna lose that battle 7-0, whatever. See you guys then. Thanks and bye.